Yeah, we're going to talk about a nice story about Santa Claus.
Okay.
What the fuck was this?
It was Sisu without Nazis.
No, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I'm the target audience for this movie, and I watched a great deal of it going, I'm not sure I understand what the fuck is happening right now.
Yeah, it was hard to follow.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, but
well,
it is
sure, and I understand
comedy.
it's got its own weird internal logic, but by the time the little kid is hanging from the helicopter, I was like, I don't know what I mean.
It's Finnish. It's a Finnish movie. It's a coming of age.
That's where I'm like, there must be just something I'm just not.
Yeah, it's a coming of age story.
in other words,
he gets the gun at the beginning of the movie.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah. Right. He gets the gun at the beginning of the movie, which is sort of like his introduction to adulthood. And by the time he gets to the end of the movie, his dad says it, you're a good man. You know, like he's an adult. Like, so another thing, like something you have to understand in Finland is like that kid smoking the cigarette early on, you can drive at 14 in Finland.
Sure.
Like, if this is true, this is a coming of age story for the kid. He spends the middle of the film worrying he's going to get eaten by Santa Claus because he's a child.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, because Santa Claus is real and is going to eat
he
him.
had that mistaken identity thing. Also,
it's a legitimate concern.
I've never seen so much elf dick in my life. That's like
this strikes me as a Finnish person having fun with their old folklore and just wanting to have a fun, wanting to make a horror Christmas movie comedy. Just being like, hey, I'm going to have some fun with this, and I'm going to tell it from a child's perspective, which is
they're like
great idea.
It's so dry. The humor is so dry that you miss it.
No, they're planting their flag.
Like if you've ever seen any of Karasmaki's films, either Aki or his brother, I forget what his name is, like Leningrad Cowboys Go America.
Right. Oh yeah, that guy.
And Sisu, of course, which is also a comedy.
They're saying that this film is like, we're planting a flag and saying we invented Santa Claus, and they have a good claim to it. If you ask me.
What does it say at the end? The original home of Santa Claus.
Exactly. Yeah. So all the things that we see culturally as a Coca-Cola Santa, as they call it in the movie, came from.
I looked up the mountain they're talking about, which is real. And
is it really
above the Arctic Circle?
Wow.
Yeah, it should
like the far north.
Oh no, this film looked very, very cold.
It should basically never be light in this movie. Actually,
yeah, it looked very cold.
Well,
because it's December, right?
The kid went outside and put boots on, but he was still in his shorts.
Yeah.
Well, that's cold to us and them is completely different.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised there were any daytime shots at all, because that's like.
I think you just kind of have to have them so you can see like what's behind Chris.
Exactly.
Otherwise, the whole movie would take place at night.
Right.
And just like Sisu, this is a really good looking movie.
It's so beautiful.
They really share a certain almost unnatural crispness, to the point I'm wondering if they're running some kind of sharpening filter on everything.
No, that's just Finland.
Oh, this film's HDR. You can tell with the detail in the faces like that.
The detail in everything.
Yeah, the high dynamic range was going through the entire thing, but also they don't.
I also think the lack of smog helps.
They don't shoot. They shoot in flat, so everything is super duper sharp, even though it's widescreen.
Yeah.
They're just using spherical lenses and just stopping it down, so you're getting tons of detail. That scene behind Chris is like 3 inches to infinity, basically. A lot of shots like that.
And they did a good job with. There's a lot of movies that center on children, and they manipulatively want you to feel sorry for the kid, or they want you to like. And oftentimes, I kind of think the kid is either annoying or smug or something. They did a great job here with making me absolutely sympathetic to this kid's plight and really liking him. And the child actor did a great job.
He did. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
And
like
the guy who plays his dad is his father.
This is real dad. That they're actually father and son.
Although, again, I'm going to go back.
And he's Sisu.
And he's also the director's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
This movie was made by seven. This movie was made by 7 people.
Yeah.
I thought it was still tonally uneven. I thought there was it was a lot of starts and stops. It felt like it was meandering a bit.
I don't care.
And it had a lot of big ideas, and it executed a lot of them really well. Some of them kind of went to dead ends.
Yeah. To that point, Scott, I think the absence of the mother, they didn't go enough into that.
Yeah.
His emotional response at the table with the gingerbread. I mean, we got it, but the filmmakers could have spent more time on that and made that a little clearer.
Yeah.
Where was the mother? I didn't ever catch it.
She's dead.
Well, she was obviously dead, but we didn't really understand. I mean,
Don't know
you
why.
had to just go, okay, yeah, the Christmas
I
is
think
like
there's just
sad now.
I think it's just an
It was a
economy of.
drinking
I think it's just an
accident.
economy of storytelling. It's
I think
just
that-
like,
I
look,
think that-
we're gonna deal with this right now. We're also going to establish that this gingerbread is really good because the gingerbread
Yeah.
being really good is important through
Yeah,
the rest
that's
of the
true.
movie.
Well, it's all they eat.
And-
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
they
And
throw
one
it
of the
to
guys, the
elves.
guy with
Yeah, and then they throw it to them.
glasses
Yep.
who flies the helicopter, his
Oh, yeah,
last name is Gingerbread.
Right.
Oh, is that what that means?
And also,
Yeah.
also he can fly
Great.
both. He can fly both a commercial helicopter
This guy.
and apparently a C-5 cargo plane.
Yeah, he can.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's a comedy, right?
I like-
it's like,
I know. I just
I
the
like
first
that
time
those
I
old
watched this when that
guys-
happened, I was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. That's why he's had the aviators on the entire movie.
Yeah.
He's
And
a
also-
fucking
Even when
helicopter
it's
pilot.
dark.
That's
I
why it's
like
okay
that
with
the old
kid
guys
being-
were elves because at first you did think that elf was Santa for like
Yeah.
a long time.
Also,
And
that
then
intro
they
scene,
reveal that's really
Right.
cool. It was a
that
good
one
little
character
red
reveal
herring.
where they have him pinned up in the thing, and then you're like, that's Santa Claus. And you see him that low angle coming in. He
And I
looks
love
scary
like,
as
and
fuck.
obviously Santa
He
is actually a fucking
he was
giant.
scary. That guy
So,
was
like-
scary.
He was scary looking, and they're
Yeah.
all naked as jaybirds in this thing. It was like,
It's so funny that it's this. And it's so funny that this movie is just like, yeah, they're elves and they're old men and they're naked. They're just all these old guys,
Yeah.
old naked guys
running
around.
after you. It's like a nightmare.
No,
Literally.
and the man, when the guy from the mining company just takes the pickaxe in the back of the head, I'm just
Yes.
like, yes,
Yeah.
I love this movie. Like, it's just like,
There was, don't get me wrong, I found this movie extremely entertaining. There was just a point where I was like, there's something about, you said it's economy of storytelling, and I was like, this thing is operating under its own internal logic that I am not totally following.
Mhm.
And at a
Mhm.
certain point, I stopped trying to.
right,
Like, okay, so now this
Yeah.
is happening. Cool.
right.
I think you're better off
Good.
doing that. Like, I think you just let the
Yeah.
movie wash over you.
It
Well,
doesn't
like-
care. It's just having fun. And it's
Right.
like,
I mean,
But
it starts with this really weird title. I mean, the
yeah.
rare X.
But it does
Yeah.
a good job though of presenting. It does
Yes,
a good job.
the title being completely incongruous with the entire
Until it gets
movie
the
up
very,
until
very
5
end,
minutes
they're
before it's
clobbering you
over.
over the head with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But it
Well,
does a
no,
good
it-
job of like it does a good
That's
job of
finished
telling the
comedy.
backstory through the book.
Uh-huh.
And then it does a good job also of making it feel Christmassy in that sense that we're all used to with the bell music and the lighting.
And just throwing out random Christmas stuff here and there. It's like, oh, okay.
but
yeah,
it
this-
feels
this-
right. You're like, yeah,
It
they're
is.
kind of nailing that, like where other movies can't even do that.
although,
There's
you
so
know
many
what?
lines,
Like
there's so many
magic, like the
lines-
magic.
Yeah.
There's so many lines in this movie that I adore and make me laugh every time I watch it.
Mhm.
When they go back to the house and he's upstairs with his friend, and the friend is like, this is, come on, man, no, this isn't real. And then he like opens up the thing and it's the overhead shot of the mountain,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his friend is like, what is this? And
What
he's
am I looking
like,
at?
yeah, he's like, well, some legends are real. Like, that line is so funny to me. Like, it's just, and then of course right here where
Yeah.
he's like a little bit of Christmas magic and then fucking revs the chainsaw to go cut the horns off.
No,
Like,
wait, Santa's this 50-foot tall giant monster who was going to eat children if they let him loose.
Well,
Block of ice. I'm just
I would have
checking.
liked
well,
to-
really, this is also
they didn't have the money for
Krampus.
that.
Yeah, they did not
Yeah.
have the money for
I
that.
would have liked
They
to
had the money for some naked old guys and some fake blood, and that's about
They
it.
well, this
And,
is
and
also
those-
like
those nice horns.
this is really Krampus, right? I mean, that's what it
Yes,
is.
it's
Well,
Krampus.
There's
Yeah.
a
Krampus.
it's a slightly different version of Krampus. Yeah.
Right, slightly different
Yeah.
kind of depiction, but Krampus would put the kids in sacks and take them away.
And beat him with a
Yeah.
willow thing, and it's like,
Willow
yeah, the
stuff.
whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Did he
but,
eat them though?
Yeah. We know
I
that
think he might.
I think he did.
Like,
Yeah.
it
just take him to
depends-
hell. I think was what.
everybody's like interpretation of Sinterklaas or Santa Claus or whatever varies greatly
Yeah,
up
all the
until
countries.
up until Clement Clark Moore's poem. Up until Clement Clark Moore writes Visit from St. Nicholas.
The Jolly
Like,
Old
that's
Elf,
the
yeah.
first time you have sort of a converging understanding
Right.
of what Santa is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Although
Like-
the one thing I got out of this stuff was
Coca-Cola
that,
company.
And then the Coca-Cola thing
Yeah,
comes
right.
later,
yeah,
taking the ideas from Moore's poem and making them into a salesman.
100%
like,
yeah.
palatable. Yeah. The one thing I got out of this that I thought was pretty valuable was I just lay this film next to Sisu, and you can see this is great because you don't see this a lot in the movies we watch. What's his name? Jalmari Helander. this is his first film, or at least close to his first film, and the other one was the second film. And you get to see him improve remarkably. Like he goes after the things that were kind of like totally wrong and like maybe a little bit limp in this first film, and in Sisu it was fucking George Miller perfection.
Sisu is a tighter ride than this.
Oh yeah,
This is much turning the bonkers up to 9.
Yeah,
it's turning the bonkers up to 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
this is not as sure-footed as Sisu.
No, it's not. I felt like it was pretty slow for the first 50 minutes, maybe 60 minutes. It seemed like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, it took a while to get going.
Yeah, but it's kind of neat because we don't see that much.
Oh, there he is.
Like, we did the. Oh, look at you guys! Oh, that's their Krampus right there. But we did the thing where we did was it Sidney Lumet first and last? You know,
yeah,
he was great in his first film. He was great in his last film.
He was great right out of the box.
Sometimes you want to see people get better in films, and it's like what was he working on now? Helander.
I assume he's going to make something else.
Sidney Lumet died.
What?
No, he's talking about this guy, the Finnish guy.
No, yeah, well, yeah, Sidney Lumet. He's not making any more movies for the time being. Same with
that we know of.
He's kind of retired at this point, but yes. But
I feel like there's a lot of Hollywood production people in hell. So
yeah, he could be making a movie down there.
The Kissinger story. That's just waiting to happen. Right?
Kissinger story.
Yeah, even if I had problems tracking the story, the level of exuberance in the filmmaking and the acting and everything else was so on point that I just kind of like Tad said, just sort of let it wash over me. And I enjoyed it at that level.
There are questions. It's like all those kids tied up in those bags for a long time. We never heard of Pete.
But the thing is, that's total fantasy at that point. You're basically, this is the.
Why don't you go back in the bag?
This is the movie Elf, if Elf was real. You know, kind of thing. And so it's like an evil version of Elf, maybe. I don't know. It's like at the end, it was totally imbued with the whole fantasy thing. It's like, yeah, the kid's gonna ride the helicopter, and the other kid's gonna be in the bag, and it's like they're gonna try to herd all the elves. And it's like you're just at that point, it's like, okay, just do it.
Sure.
Yep.
How much for an elf? $85,000.
Oh, that was fun. And they did the math, and it's like, how many millions?
$16 million.
Yeah. Which of course turns into like a thing about we exported the idea of Christmas. Now we're cashing in.
Right. And because we can't exploit
the commodification of it.
Because we can't exploit the reindeer, we're going to exploit these sentient creatures.
This was fucking awesome.
Hey,
Yes,
why did all the reindeer
That
die
scene-
in that one?
This scene is great.
Because they killed and ate them.
Oh, okay.
The elves killed and ate them. It's not wolves, it's the elves.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
They just escaped from the ground after however many years. They're fucking
they're
hungry.
hungry. Yeah.
I was liking the bit where they were drilling in, they're finding like layers of like hay, then ice, and they realized that the Sami actually kind of sealed Santa in at some ancient point. That was a nice intro. It felt a little bit like a good adventure film.
No, now that I've seen this, like whatever this, I mean, I'm in. Like this will be one of those guys. Like, oh, I don't care what it is, I'll go just because I'm in. Like,
just because there's the
see what he's
scene
gonna do.
There's the scene where the guy has to correct the guy for trying to open the present. Like, there's nothing in there for you.
Do you have a corner, Jim, at all?
Yeah, I didn't think they really were elves. I thought they were all the guys who were working on the drilling site or the excavation site, gone native.
They all went nuts.
Possibly. They didn't say where they came from. I think they're
all
like
old though.
They were like weird old guys who fell into a certain spell. Maybe I think that was the kind of the explanation. You know,
well,
I was confused by.
I know they're elves.
No, they're just magical elves, dude.
Elves have to be
This is what elves. This is what elves are.
Yeah, in this world,
we've been tricked by the Keebler Company into thinking they're tiny guys with fucking curly shoes. This is what elves are.
Naked guys,
right? They're tall.
Yeah.
They're tall,
scary,
pale,
weird naked men,
naked
old guys with
I just
was
ZZ Top beards.
maybe I was ahead of the film, but I thought the elves were like these weird old dudes.
Yeah, me too,
so
Jim.
the American passport, that's because he killed the guy, the assistant, and stole his jacket.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, there it is.
So there.
That's it.
John.
Anything else?
I love this movie.
I
think this gets better every time you watch it. I think this is one of those movies. This is maybe like the 5th time that I've seen it now, and
I've never heard of it.
And I I have a friend who loves horror movies and loves Christmas horror movies, and when you have a friend like that, you find out about all the Christmas horror movies. And so,
anyway,
Wait,
where are we at?
Sure.
I still thought it was totally
It's
uneven.
really fun.
I'm happy to see it, especially again compared to Sisu. I thought it was kind of interesting to watch the development of
You
this
can
guy's
see,
work.
you can see he already came out of the gate knowing what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, no shit.
Many
Yeah.
levels.
well,
Well,
so
see,
one thing I will say is that he did 2 versions of short films of this before this,
Oh, okay.
and they're
Yeah.
basically more into the end.
Mhm.
It's more about like what the exporting the elves are, and this is sort of the story of how you get to exporting the elves.
Yeah.
Right.